All right, Shalom. We the brothers of Great Millstone, a branch out in Des Moines. First and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers for preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. And it's pretty much going to be a lesson inspired through the apostles. They passed weekly speaking when they were out in the highways and hedges. You know, and they were going into history, and one thing Apostle Tahar said was that when you read in the scriptures and you read in these different prophecies, go back into secular history and read up on these things, do your due diligence in searching these things out, because it increases your faith, man, of knowing that, man, these things took place, these things happened according as it is written, according to the word of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. So why wouldn't the Lord defend us in that day? Or why wouldn't the Lord deliver us as it is written or as he has spoken? You know? So when we see these different things happening, we have confidence and assurance that it's Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai performing his work, man. You know?
I got one for you. This is Romans 15:4. It says, as the Spirit, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
There it is, you know, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope, because we read these different things and we see it take place, and we see how the Lord delivered our righteous forefathers back then. We see how the Lord in Daniel the 8th chapter, you know, just an example, you know, in Daniel the 8th chapter, through the mouth of Daniel, the Lord said that the kingdom of Greece would come and overtake the kingdom of the Persians, man. And that played out according to 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter. Exactly how the Lord said it would.
And that's what they teach you in secular history. They teach you that in the schools. How Alexander the so-called Great, how he came and pretty much defeated the Persians and the Medes, man. It says how long he reigned. All right, that's everything that happens in secular history lines up with the scriptures, man. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Right, the former things have come to pass, and new things does the Lord declare. All right, so everything that happened in history was at one point prophecy. It was prophecy that Babylon would go down, and now that's history. It was prophecy that the Grecians would come into rulership, and now that's history. All right. It was prophecy that we would go into to captivity on slave ships, and now that's history. So how much more the rest of the prophecies that the Lord is telling us of now, that the Lord is speaking through us at this moment, man. All right, got another quick one. This is Isaiah 46:10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Lord declared the end from the beginning. Everything that has happened in history has been mapped out from Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, and it's all coming to pass. All right, and now we're in the end. We're in the end of this place. Okay, we're in the end of this place. So if everything else that happened in history was prophesied about and it all came to pass, how much more of these prophecies that the Lord is speaking through us now? The RFID chip, the microchip. All right, America, this captivity, this hellhole being destroyed, man. Like the brother said, it's to boost your faith. All right, all the other kingdoms, they rose and fell. All right, they was prophesied to rise, and they was prophesied to fall, and all of that happened. So how much more this kingdom, man? All right.
This is Isaiah 43 and verse 9. It says, let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is true. So let them come and bring forth these things that we're bringing forth, man. You know, according to Isaiah the 55th chapter, the Lord said, where his word will go, it will prosper, it will not come unto him void. It says in Numbers, the 23rd chapter, has the Lord spoken, and shall he not make it good? Roughly paraphrasing. So it says, who can declare unto us former things? Who's bringing out these things about the Babylonian Empire being the head of gold? And then that was taken down by the Persians. And then that was taken down by the Greeks. And then that was taken down by the Romans. And now we're living in the time of the 10 toes, the water, the iron mixed with clay. the EU and NATO, America being that whore riding the beast. Who can declare these things, man? Who can tell you these things? Besides our power, besides Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Verse 10, it says, ye are my witnesses, saith the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me, and understand that I am he. Before me there was no power formed, neither shall there be after me, man. So the Lord has placed his spirit upon us to declare his works, to let us to let this earth and the world know that he is the power that ruleth. This is Isaiah 48 and verse, I started 3. This is Isaiah 48 and 3. It says, I have declared the former things from the beginning. Right? So the Lord said, who can tell us the former things? Who can declare it? The Lord is doing that through the mouth of his prophets, man, because he's showing he's the power. He's showing he's in control. You see? And when you go back into secular history and you dig deep and you do your due diligence in searching these things up, you can see that that's true. You can see that all the Lord wrote about, man, or spoke about, that the prophets wrote about, you know, all these things took place, man. How we were delivered into captivity on slave ships, both kingdoms, northern and southern. How we suffered things at the hands of our enemies, according to Daniel, the 9th chapter. What happened unto us haven't happened unto no nation on this earth, man. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture, Daniel 9 and 12, I believe. You know, the salvation that the Lord got prepared for us, man. All these things, right? It says, I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, I did them suddenly, and they came to pass, man. So they happened in this season, man. The Lord did them suddenly, just like the destruction of Babylon. The Lord said what? You know, 70 years. And then Daniel understood by books, meaning what? By the scriptures of Jeremiah, that was prophesied how long Babylon would reign. You see? It says, verse 4, because I knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass, meaning what? That Jake is stiff-necked, that Jake is hard-headed. Verse 5, I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it thee. How did the Lord do that? Through the mouth of his prophets, man. You see? It says, lest thou shouldest say, my idol hath done them, and my graven image and my molten image hath commanded them, unless you give the glory unto a goddamn idol. Verse 6, thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them, man. So the prophets come tell you the things that's about to happen, that's about to take place. Just like Jonah came and prophesied the destruction of Assyria. You see? The destruction of Nineveh. And what took place in the book of Tobit, it says that Tobias heard about the destruction of Nineveh, man. And that Tobit warned his son to leave out of Nineveh because he feared the words of Jonah the prophet, man. You see? So the Lord tells you these things before it happened, and these things happening. So that's the confidence and the faith that we should have in the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, that he's able to deliver us, that he's able to defend us, that his words will prosper, you know?
This is Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 1, what you quoted. It said, or it's like Daniel 9 and 1, it says, in the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of years whereof the word of the Lord Yahweh came to Jeremiah the prophet, and he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem.
So that means what? He did his due diligence.
Exactly.
He did his research.
Oh, well.
Right?
Yep.
He studied, man. He read the scriptures and was like, and he understood that prophecy, man.
This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High Yahweh, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients. That's history.
Yep.
Right? It says, and be occupied in prophecies.
Old and new. You know?
Yep.
Even the old prophecies, like we mentioned, Daniel the 8th chapter, Daniel 2, Daniel 7, 2nd Esdras 11 and 12. You know, and there's many more prophecies written within the pages, man.
Yep.
You know, different little things like how Joshua when he destroyed was it Ai or was it Jericho? Don't quote me on which one it was, but when he destroyed them, he said, "What? Cursed be that man that buildeth that." You know, it said he shall lay the foundation in his firstborn and his second. I'm roughly paraphrasing it. And then later on in the book of Samuel and the book of Kings, that man built it according to what Joshua said.
Right.
Because he was a prophet. These things is happening according to the will and the words of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, man.
Right. What about in Isaiah? I believe it prophesies about Cyrus. All right, and then you can look up information on Cyrus. It's not a fairy tale.
Yep.
All right, the Bible is not a fairy tale. The Bible is a book of history, and the Bible is a book of prophecy, man. All right, and all the history that was once prophecy.
Yep.
All right, it all came to pass, showing you that the Bible is true. It's the book of the living. It's the words of the Heavenly Father. Okay. And when you go in on that Sirach, the 38th chapter and the 39th chapter, it goes in on being diligent and perfecting your craft. All right, how a carpenter or any type of craft, any craftsman, he's very detailed and he's very meticulous. All right, he pay attention to the small things so that his work is perfect, so that he presents the final the final product, and it's damn near perfect, man. That's the same way we have to be with this truth, man. All right, because me personally, history is not my cup of tea. All right, but you got to go into it, and it, like the brother said, it builds up your faith. Like just recently this week, I've been going into the 7 heads or the 10 horns, and just trying to get a better knowledge of that. You know, at one point the EU. All right, it started off with 6. It started off with only 6 countries, and then it started to expand. Okay, it started to expand, and now at one point it was 12. Like if you look at the flag, it's 12. The flag symbolic for the EU, it has 12 stars, but really the 12 stars is only supposed to be 10 because Great Britain, I believe it's Great Britain and Ireland. That would be 1, and then Spain and Portugal, that would be 1. So if you combine those 2, all right, you take 2 stars off, and it'll be only 10. Symbolic for what? The 10 heads, man. Okay, and then it's like the 10 horns. All right, and now it's been branched out to like 20 different countries, but originally it was 10. Okay, well, it started with 6 and then it went to 12, but if you put them together, it'd be 10. Mm-hmm. That's a part of knowing history, and that shows you that just shows you that the prophecy is true, and that the prophecy is concrete. There ain't no way around it. There ain't no way around the scriptures, because the prophecies that we're reading about in these times is all showing on the earth now. You know.
Yep. Even within those, I think it's like 26 or 27 countries in the EU. Even within that. Those back in the ancient world, those areas were bigger areas, and now they broken, like the brother mentioned, Portugal and Spain. Well, in the ancient world, Portugal and Spain was all together, but now that's broken up into 2. So even within these 25, 26, 27 different countries in the ancient world, they were more put together, and now they're broken up. But it's the same territory, it's the same landmass that was occupied back in the ancient world, man.
Right. And these are things that the apostles go into, but it's up to us to go and to like the Church of Berea, to go and check it. That way it's not going, oh, well, he said this or he said that. No, you actually did the research. Yeah. You actually looked it up. So that way you can go and teach someone else and break it down to its smallest compound, man.
Yeah, to confirm it. You know?
Yep.
And when you confirming something, the word confirm meaning, you made sure it was right. But confirm, literally, firm is what? With strength.
Yep.
So you strengthening your own faith in your mind by what? Going through that research, man.
And that's what we need. We need more faith. All right, we need to strengthen our faith. The scriptures say, without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. He that cometh to the Most High Yahweh must believe that He is, and that He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. A part of diligently seeking the Lord is just being a well-rounded student. And if you're a well-rounded student, the best student is will become a great teacher. All right, because you did your homework. doing your homework, doing your studying, reading the scriptures, and going in and double checking, because the apostles by this time it's like, man, yeah, of course that's right, but then you go in and you double check it, and you learn more of what the apostles might have not said in that 10-minute video or that 20-minute video. You go in and you have more details, so that when the topic comes up, you're able to teach it fluently and open up the minds of a hopeful elect, man. You know,
this is Proverbs 15:28. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things, man. You see?
Right, start winging it. Hey, that's what they do. They start to wing it. Why? Because they didn't study. So when it comes time to play the game, when it comes time to show forth the knowledge and break down the scriptures the correct way, they just wing it, man. Like I believe one point Nate was saying that the 10 toes in Daniel's the 2nd chapter is talking about America and how it's partly strong and partly weak, how there's gonna be race wars. That's not what it's talking about. He didn't do his homework. Too busy going on fucking trips, man, and not being in the book, not being in the scriptures, man. We just read it. You're supposed to be occupied in prophecies. When you read down on that, it says, then that man will sit among kings, roughly paraphrasing, man, or the kings will take heed to him, roughly paraphrasing that chapter, man. So it goes in on being diligent. The scriptures say, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Okay?
Yep. This is Galatians 6:4. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Meaning what? You put in that effort, man. That word prove goes back to the Greek word doimaizo, which is to test, examine, prove, or scrutinize, man. So you going through doing what? That your due diligence. As the scripture says, study to show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. That word rightly in the Greek is orthotomeo, which means directly and correctly, man.
Yep. Because you don't want to teach the wrong thing, man.
Yeah.
That's a heavy offense, man. Scriptures talk about adding to the word and taking away to the word, man. All right. You have to do your due diligence. The word, and the brother went into that word prove. It means scrutinize. It's the same thing as I believe it's 1 Corinthians 13 or 2 Corinthians 13. It says examine yourself. 13:5, right? It says examine yourself. It also, that means to what? To scrutinize yourself. Make sure you're when it comes to your studies, you're being hard on yourself, man, or you're being detailed, man. Like I was watching some boxing stuff earlier. And I can't remember her name. She was talking to Andre Ward. He was giving her, wisdom or whatever. And she was like, yeah, I train so hard in the gym because my biggest fear is to get tired during a fight. Once you tire out in the ring, it's wraps for you, man. You can't keep your guards up. All right, you can't throw any punches. Your defenses are down, man. All right,
your arms feel like they're 1,000 pounds. You can't keep them up.
Pretty much, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay. So we have to have that same mindset when it comes to this truth. All right, your biggest fear should be failing in the time of when it counts. You know, when all hell breaks out loose, the time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. All right, right now, what we're doing right now in our everyday lives is and building up our faith is going to help us get through those times, man. Okay.
Yep, so I'm going to read this again. It's Galatians 6:4. It says, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. You know? So you're not glorying in the work that another man did. You know, you went back and as the church of Berea, which the word Berea means well-watered, man. You know? So you went back and did the due diligence to do research for yourself. The word research. Re means again, search again.
Right.
You know?
And he said, well watered. Hey, the scriptures say in Proverbs, he that watereth himself, man.
That's the spirit.
You got to be able to water yourself before you can water somebody else, man. You got to be able to feed yourself and gather up food before you can feed somebody else, you know?
Yep. Hey, so with that, we Lord willing, we hope that was edifying. We give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. Shalom.
Shalom.